Hi everyone, it's Jerry. This is video 17 from the Beginner to Chess Master playlist, which is a progressive series of videos. And I'd like to share with you an important endgame idea to be familiar with, and that is one involving a bishop and rook pawn. Those of you who have been connected with me for some time may recall I've already covered this topic nearly 5 years ago. Do know that there will only be a handful of topics I revisit specifically for this playlist, and this happens to be one of them. And in this video, I've included some additional features. Also, at the end, I have a little pop quiz for you, a group of 5 multiple choice questions, and one bonus type question, I guess we can say, one that is of the find the best continuation type. So with that said, let's have a look at our first of just a handful of examples where in this position it's white to move. And just to be clear, in all examples I share with you in this video, it will be white to move. So let's see what it is white does in our first example. White is improving their king position. The white king will soon be helpful in escorting the white pawn to promotion land. Meanwhile, what is it that the black king has done? What is it that the black king continues to do? Well, the black king went to the corner, and the black king continues to simply stay near the corner. Simple enough. Interesting position we have here. Interesting because one wrong step by white, and the game's over. What do I mean? Well, suppose a7, game over. Stalemate. Ooh. We don't want to do that. We have an extra bishop. We have a pawn. We're trying to win here as white. Let's try something else. Bishop f4. Well, that's not a very good attempt, is it? It's another stalemate. We don't want to go there. Suppose we make a passing move like bishop d2. Let's try this. So that after king b8, at least we can now push this pawn. It's not stalemate in this case. However, after king a8, now what? What should white do? King a6, yet another case of stalemate. Let's try something else. King b5, king c5, king c6. King takes pawn. Draw. Not enough mating material. Let's try something else. Suppose bishop e3. White's being clever now. King b8, a7, king a8, and now we get to move our king, have our pawn defended, and it not be stalemate. King b7. But what do we do as white? How do we make progress? How do we flush the king out of the corner? King a5, king a8, king a6, stalemate. Every way we look at it, it seems to be stalemate. King c4, king d5, king d6, and if we even dare approach the black king by way of c6 or c7, yet another case or two of stalemate. However we look at it, stalemate's all over. White cannot win, even though white has an extra pawn and bishop. Is this always the case? No. Here is what you need to know about this endgame. What I'm about to share with you involves the rook pawns and the rook pawns alone. It could be just one rook pawn, it can be multiple rook pawns. Okay? If the defending side's king can get to the corner square and the bishop cannot control the corner square, it's a draw. It is said in this position that white has the wrong colored bishop. He has a bishop that cannot control the a8 square. He's a dark square bishop. We would need in this position a light square bishop in order for it to be a win. Again, if the defending side's king can get to the corner square and the bishop cannot control the corner square, that promotion square in other words, it's a draw. Let's have a look at an example where we're working with a light square bishop. Actually, before I even show you that, have a look at this example real quick. Not even going to make a move. Look at this one. Pretty weird, huh? Why would we promote a couple of our pawns to become bishops? Yeah, we have a lot of material here, but guess what? Even this position here is a draw. We don't have the correct color bishop. We have 3, I guess we can say, wrong colored bishops. And it doesn't matter how many rook pawns we have. It's just not going to work out. Even this position here is a draw. Maybe one you could throw up against your computer and have some fun, see what it says. But yeah, this position is also a draw. Let's have a look at our next example. Working with a different color bishop. That's the only thing that's really changed here. Let's see how things turn out. White king is helpful in pushing the pawn. And the pawn gets all the way up to that 6th rank. And now what? Well, we could play a7. The king is in check. And if he goes to the corner now, bishop g2, checkmate. Simple enough, right? Where else is the king to go? Here? We got a queen. What else? If it happened to be, let's say, king goes here, and then here. If in this position, we don't want to push the pawn, that's stalemate right now. But we could first insert the bishop check first. Just switch the move order a little bit. Bishop g2 check. King b8. Now we push. The king is flushed away from the corner. And now we can successfully promote that pawn because we are working with the correct colored bishop. We have a bishop that can control the corner square, the promotion square. That's the big idea with this endgame. Okay, let's have a look at another example. Here we go. In this position, it is white to move. White can win this, but needs to be accurate with their very next move. Bishop f4. This stops the king from getting to b8. And if he's not getting to b8, he's not getting to the corner. Again, keep in mind those conditions. If the defending side's king can get to the corner, and the bishop cannot control that corner square, it's a draw. Unfortunately, the king can't get to the corner. Both of those conditions need to be in place in order for it to be a draw. The king isn't getting to the corner in this case. And so what white is able to do is simply push right through to get a queen. The king is in a fantastic position. White controls that square. The pawn simply runs to get a queen. That's a way to win. We cut the king off from even getting to the corner. Let's have a look at just 2 more examples, and I have a couple games to share with you. Here we go. One that I played when I was not even 15 years old. Here we go. White to move here. Notice if black only had a rook pawn, this isn't the correct color bishop. It does not control that queening square, h1. So, a good idea for white is to give check, forking the king and super valuable g-pawn, and now we can sacrifice our knight for this guy and simply get to the corner, because we know that black will not be able to win this. This will turn out to be a draw, as we have already seen. Black does not have the correct color bishop. Let's have a look at just one more example, and I will soon enough be putting you to the test. White to move here. Here's a clever move. Notice black, if black was only working with rook pawns, black does not have the correct colored bishop. Bishop to a4. And with this move, white will be able to successfully remove the knight pawn, the b pawn. There's a little pin going on here, and if the bishop is captured, again, it doesn't matter how many rook pawns you have here. Black doesn't have the correct color bishop. This is a draw. If black tries something else, like doesn't take the bishop, well, we're taking here. Pretty much have to just take them, right? We're getting to the corner. Yet again, a draw on board. Now, let's just see a couple examples of this idea showing up in a game. And I guess we'll visit the game I played first. I'm not going to be commenting on any of my moves, but maybe you'll find it a little bit interesting, I guess, along the way to see how I was playing as not even a 15-year-old. I was playing somebody who was 1900. Bring it up here, just flip the board. There we go. So I'm just going to zip through here and we'll see how I was familiar with this idea, this endgame idea. I'm playing black here. I was about mid 1500, and eventually I get into a losing position, but my opponent doesn't find a way. There were plenty of different ways I could have been killed in this one, but the game continues for some time, and eventually I'm able to make use of this idea. I was familiar with this idea, and actually my opponent was not. I don't have the full game. Eventually, I think I was low on time as far as I could recall. Go figure, right? And I stopped keeping notation, but you'll basically get the idea. What I'm trying to do here is find a way to eliminate both the G and H pawns, and my opponent allowed me to take the G pawn, and I just took the H pawn next because I knew white had what? The wrong colored bishop. Even if I don't have my B pawn, this will be a draw. I don't have the rest of the moves of this game, but from what I recall, my opponent, I don't know, I think it was just kind of from his body language, he was kind of stunned that he couldn't make progress around here. And there was a little bit of back and forth, and eventually realized there isn't a way forward. Yeah, it's a draw. So that's a little way you could kind of, simplify to this endgame, being familiar with this idea of having the wrong colored bishop. You can be looking for ways to try and eliminate these guys here. And my opponent shouldn't have allowed me to do these kind of things. It was losing for some time, but I was aware of this idea. I was able to take those guys out and then run to the corner and hold the draw, hold the point. And there's even one other more recent game, Carlsen versus Wei. Recent game that was played. We had an endgame that also made use of this wrong colored bishop idea. And that is this position right here. A little bit more complicated, of course. A lot of pawns, and still a lot of pawns on board. Carlsen was playing as white. He played a4. And soon we have Wei taking out the b pawn. Notice that if white has this rook pawn, he does not have the correct colored bishop to control that promotion square. Let's see how this game finished. This was from 2016 tournament, a Bilbao Masters final. Knight to h4. After knight takes f3 in this position, removing the f-pawn, they already agreed to a draw. Both players clearly well aware of this idea of white having, in this case, the wrong colored bishop. He cannot control this square, and it will go on to be a draw. So, with that, let's dive right in, and I'm going to throw this little pop quiz at you and see how you do. If you'd like to get out a little piece of paper for these first 5 questions, your answers are either going to be it's a white win, it's a black win. That should be pretty easy to determine which side is trying to win. A white win, a black win, or a draw. I'm initially just going to go through all 5 questions, and then I will revisit each, all 5 questions and then the bonus question, and then I will revisit each and give you the answers, and in some cases a little bit of explanation. So here is the first pop quiz question. Here we go. Again, in each of these, it is white to move. So feel free to pause the video and spend as much time with each of these. 3, 2, 1. Okay, moving on now to pop quiz question number 2. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Here comes pop quiz question number 3. 3, 2, 1. Here comes number 4. 3, 2, 1. And the last multiple choice one. Question 5. 3, 2, 1. And now the bonus question. There we go. So again, for this bonus question, white to move. What is the best continuation? What is, let's say, the cleanest continuation, making use of this idea we just learned about having the wrong colored bishop? White to move. Okay, now with that, I'm now going to revisit and share the answers, and again, in some cases, maybe an explanation or two. So let's see how you did. Question number 1. The answer to this is, it's a draw. The defending side's king can get to the corner square, and the bishop cannot control the corner square. We're working with the rook pawn. This is a draw. Question number 2. We're not even working with the rook pawn. Who cares what color square the bishop is on? This is a win. Again, this idea is for rook pawns and rook pawns alone. Question 3. This is a win. The bishop can play to d5, stop the king from even getting to the corner, and then push through. Number 4. This may have tricked you, I don't know. This is a win. It may be tempting to just kind of look at it as, oh, I could do this similar idea. I shared an example where the knight could fork the king and pawn, and after the king moves, we get this pawn. But in the end, is this the correct color bishop? It is the correct color bishop. He can control that corner square, that promotion square. Therefore, this is a winning position. Of course, white doesn't have to go in for that. He could do some other stuff, but this is a one endgame. There isn't this saving idea where the knight can sacrifice himself for one of the pawns and it be a draw. This will be a one position for black. The last multiple choice question is, well, what's the answer to this one? This here is also a win for black. I wonder who maybe got slipped up with this one. You may have been too focused on this move bishop h4, thinking, aha, when my bishop's captured, I just get to the corner and it's a draw. Unfortunately, black doesn't have to take the bishop, so this is worth noting, right? If you happen to be in a position like this and your opponent's throwing out a bishop like that, you need to know you need to preserve your knight pawn, your g pawn in this case, and if you're going to have any try to win. Black in this case doesn't have to take the bishop. Black in this case should not capture the bishop, and instead move the king, move this pawn, save the knight pawn for sure, and help out, get your bishop around. This will go on. I don't want to go into the details, but just know that this will be a one position. White does not have this resource of sacrificing the bishop for the knight pawn in this case. Bishop here, king there. Bishop takes pawn. How do you recapture? Not with the king. Pawn takes. We need a knight pawn in this case if black wants to win. And now the last question, the bonus question, might have been, there isn't just one way to go ahead and win this, but I believe that the cleanest approach in this one here is to simply capture the knight, right? We could maybe see something like this happen in a game, right, where there's many different capturing possibilities. Knight takes knight, knight takes bishop. Maybe we capture this pawn. Well, in this position, we shouldn't care so much about winning that pawn. We know this idea of the black having a wrong-colored bishop in this case, dark square bishop. The h1 square is a light square. What we can do, being down some material here, is white. Capture the knight. King takes knight. Bishop a3. If you went for this variation, this is the cleanest approach. We're giving check. We're taking out the e-pawn, and we're simply running to the corner, and this will also turn out to be a draw. So, with that, as usual, feel free to leave any feedback to this video. Let me know how you did with these 5 multiple choice questions and the bonus question. Any of you go, let's say, 6 for 6? Feel free to leave any feedback. Let me know how you did in the comment section below. And as usual, I hope you got something out of this video. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.